Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This guy's Tim, and we have something to get to the bottom to today on Second Legacy. It turns out more gun buyback failures. More states are sending for parts kits to go out amongst the world and proliferate guns being reborn as zombie guns. I'm not being hyperbolic. You're going to love every second of this one. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. This is the place where we're going to make your 2A day with some sarcasm, humor, and some analysis. With that, Tim, are you fully ready for the evil that is this? Because
I'm never fully ready for the far left lunacy, but let's
never
do
fully
it.
ready.
Yeah.
Well, this is coming out of Texas, a expose report from Texas, because it turns out Gunbusters is not having a good year. You remember them?
So just so you guys know, Gunbusters, this is the group that these various organizations use to demill firearms from gun buybacks. And so they've been accused in the past of, if they come in and they do the service for free, meaning they don't charge the gun grabbers anything for their services, well, then they have to make money somehow. That's what businesses do. So they would sell those parts that weren't classified as firearms, trigger groups, barrels, handguards, butt stocks. They would sell those to people, and that's how they made their money. And of course, capitalism and guns both irritate the far left. And so that became an issue. They don't want to pay for the services, dang it. They just want them to come do this for free. And don't you ever sell those ghost gun parts, zombie guns, or whatever they are.
Yep.
And so that's who Gunbusters are as an organization, right? They're the ones
the zombie reanimators.
They're the zombie gun makers.
They're the people who make the zombie parts.
Deassemblers to be reassembled into zombie.
It's so bad.
Is Frankenstein scarier than zombies? Zombies are scarier.
No, I'm pretty sure that zombies are scarier because Frankenstein does make more sense, to be quite honest. Yeah. But they had to do zombies. Yeah, they had to.
In the 50s, Frankenstein was scary. It's not so scary in the 20s.
It's not anymore. Now it's zombies. It's all the rage. It's much more marketable.
Yeah. But someday we're going to figure out what's scarier than zombies, because that's next, right?
Ghost was terrifying.
Guns, what's werewolf guns or
lichens? We'll call them lichens.
Yeah, or a lichen vampire mix breed gun. Yep. Vampire guns are pretty scary.
What there a name for a vampire and a werewolf? That I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. That's not the point, Tim. Cultural lore. This is about something so serious. Going back to zombies.
Oh, we're trying to be serious again.
No. It's very serious.
People seriously. Okay.
It is very serious. Let me show you what's going on. That was exposed in the not New York. You would think this is from New York. It's from Texas. This is number 16. Let's get to the bottom of this.
Surrendered firearms, along with guns confiscated by police from crime scenes, can quickly fill up evidence rooms, leaving law enforcement agencies having to come up with a way to dispose them.
It's a big deal when you take possession of somebody's firearm. It needs to be disposed of properly, even if it costs money, because that's the responsible thing for us to do.
A CBS News Texas I-Team investigation found in the past 5 years, 15 North Texas law enforcement agencies have contracted with Gulf Coast Gunbusters to destroy their unwanted guns. The company has a patent for what it calls the firearm pulverizer. The way it works is the gun goes in one side, it's crushed, and then comes out in pieces. The process is recorded so police departments have a record. This video was for a gun sent in by the Frisco Police Department.
So it's a very clear process. It must be destroyed, right?
Yeah.
Get the idea.
Yeah.
Well,
the gun chipper.
The gun chipper. They have a patent for something that looks just like a normal grinder. I'm like, what do you mean you have a patent? Whatever. I don't care. But first of all, did you know there were so many square counties in Texas? I mean, that's a lot of squares. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was pretty. I mean, that's some good state planning right there.
Yeah, it's very organized. Anyway, unrelated. Yeah, there's lots of problems. So the guns in question here are the ones that are seized at crime scenes, the ones that are done from gun buybacks, or the ones that are just found or turned in or whatever. That's what they're talking about from police departments. Okay?
Yes.
So the expose really found something unbearably true. Did you notice it, Tim? I don't even think you noticed it.
I had a hard time hearing it, so maybe you can enlighten me.
Well, it was much more visual. But maybe we can run it again. But they're going to highlight it because this is very serious. This is number 17.
But there's a catch, and the I-Team found many North Texas cities and counties were unaware of it. Take a second look at this video. Notice something? That gun set to be pulverized is missing pieces. When Gunbusters offers its services for free, it often destroys only the gun receiver. The receiver is a part of the firearm that bears a serial number. According to federal law, the receiver is considered the actual gun. Everything else are mere parts. Gunbusters then sells those parts through an online gun broker, marketing them as gun kits. These kits are sold without a background check. In contracts signed by local police chiefs, Gunbusters outlines how it will sell salvaged parts. But the I-Team found in several cases these contracts received little scrutiny.
Oh, no, it's
I know.
them selling the parts that aren't the gun.
Oh.
And this is them pushing for that ATF rule to make every single
Yes,
part a serialized,
they
traced
are.
part. So let's say a Glock has 40-some parts in it. Then you'll have to do 40-some 4473 forms when you buy your new gun.
That's exactly right.
It's like, oh, because they have to break down every single part and list
Every
it,
one
I
of
guess.
them. All evil.
Yeah,
All
you know-
evil parts.
And here's they like to pretend like making a gun in the United States as a citizen is something that just new and just sprung up yesterday. And oh my gosh, we got to stop this practice. It's something
it
that's been
started.
going on since our founding, right?
Yep. And before, too.
Well, yeah, of course. But I mean, let's start from when we were actually a nation. From day
Fair.
one, we've been able to legally manufacture guns. It's been going on since I was a kid in the 80s, and it's been going on all the way up until now. But now the gun grabbers are all up in arms like, oh my gosh, we can't have people making guns. So
It's because they just found out about it, Tim. They
can't-
just thought that it was all, oh my goodness, it's only these evil manufacturers. And then the gun controllers had to sit down and tell them, well, actually, they can make them their own themselves. What?
yeah. You can make a gun in this country? That you can't have this?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
been
I
going on for quite
I
some
thought
time.
you got rid of the entire gun. The New York Times is up in arms because you aren't destroying these guns. Yes, we are. No, you're not. I saw it sold again. No, the frame and receiver got destroyed because that's the legal definition of a gun. You just saw it on the actual report. They're doing,
Right.
and that's the crazy part. They're doing this and going, this is the actual law. Can you guys believe? Yes, we can believe it because that's exactly what they haven't told you for 20, 40, 30 years.
And keep in mind, folks, what they're not telling you about this and their push to make every single part on the firearm a firearm, from the trigger to the sear to the recoil spring to the sights to the barrel. What does that do when you go to Brownells or you go to PSA and you want to buy a new barrel? You want to put a match barrel in your 1911. You want to put new grips on your 1911. You want to put a new trigger in your handgun. You want to put an Apex trigger in a Smith. Guess what? Now you have to have that part, that trigger part, sent to an FFL, fill out a 4473 form, do a background check before you can get your part to modify your
transfer
firearm.
fee.
That's where
And a
this
transfer
goes.
fee for every one of them.
And then a transfer fee for every one of them. So paying, taxes, shipping, transfer fee. And if you get lucky, it's only $25 at a gun shop. But usually in this economy, it's more. This is where this goes. And so you have to pay attention to this as a gun owner. You might think Gunbusters buybacks, I don't take part in any of that nonsense. I really don't care. This is noise. It is not noise, because what the point they're trying to drive here, folks, is they want to turn every single small part, every spring, screw, pin, and part in your firearm. They want to make that a firearm that's tracked by the ATF, is serialized, that
Correct.
you have to do background checks to buy, thus putting out of business all these retailers that sell said parts.
That's exactly right. You just nailed that. So when you are fighting and watching and observing and struggling against the gun controlling left, everything they do is oriented towards a purpose.
Right, they have a much bigger picture.
Nothing random. Nothing is random.
There's nothing harmless in any of their
promise.
actions. There's nothing that's just random or haphazard. This is a strategy.
Yep. But there's something else that is so fascinating to me, and this third clip is going to bring it all together. This is a police chief. Again, remember, the police chief signed those contracts, and they all knew it was in there. And it's like, whoa, it's not a gun. Yeah, no kidding, it's not a gun. But now the lefties are all pissed. That's why you're seeing Gunbusters stories and New York Times and exposés on the evil secondary market. That's why you saw zombie guns come out last 2 weeks ago. It's all tied together. But listen to number 18, and then we're going to really hit an important point that I think is a key piece of this.
The sheriff's office to stop the transfer of firearms to Gunbusters. Other departments have done the same.
My position is always, we'll destroy the firearm in its complete entirety.
2 years ago, after recommendations from neighboring cities, the Louisville Police Department began sending firearms to Gunbusters. However, Chief Brooke Rollins, who had yet to join the force, said once the city discovered what was happening with salvaged parts, it immediately stopped and looked for a new vendor.
I recognize that there may be a cost component to that. I'm willing to trade the cost to ensure that the firearm doesn't make it back into the market in any way.
So the thing that stands out to me on that, Tim, is what he said there at the end. And like, yeah, sure, fine. You're going to send the guns to buyback or you're not. I don't care. But the thing that really stands out to me about this is he said, well, if I have to pay more money from, recycling these guns in full, then that gets the guns off the street. The guns were already off the street. This is a sitting police chief basically saying that if there's a barrel or a spring or a slide that gets used somewhere else to replace a damaged part or just build a gun from scratch, all of a sudden that gun is back on the street again. It doesn't make sense. So what it goes down to is it's all about, well, that metal was once used in a gun. So therefore, that gun came back to life, even if it was a hammer pin or a spring. So now the gun came back to life.
These people are really going to lose their minds when 3D metal printers become affordable and readily available.
They're going to lose it. It's going to be insane.
And I'm just waiting for that day because you know what? It's technology like that is going to help us potentially if we capitalize on it, because they're looking to capitalize on it too. But when that technology comes of age, we have to become very political because this is how we're going to beat these silly gun laws. We're going to show how absurd they are when you can literally print parts. They're worried about a trigger from a Ruger LCP being resold online to somebody that wants to replace their trigger. They're really going to get tweaked when they find out that you can just sit down, download a file, and print the entire firearm. And
That's
you know what?
Right.
That's exactly the way it should be, because we're just using modern technology to do something we've been able to do since our founding.
Yep, and you can't
really
stop it.
I hope that the 2A community is on top of it, and when this becomes an issue, they decide to fight. I really do.
I'll be honest with you. I think the new 2A community would be like the new or younger are 100% on board.
Yes.
I think the older ones, like the older politicians, like the Cornyn's, the Tom Tillises, I think they'll be uncomfortable, and they'll probably do something like common sense negotiation.
Yeah, I mean, Gen Xers like myself. I mean, I would imagine many of us like, I don't care. I don't understand that technology. Doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to get animated. But you're absolutely right. I follow a lot of people on social media that are young guys, in their 20s that are out there really pushing the 3D printing stuff. Every day they post new stuff they've designed and printed, and everything from silencers to receivers to entire firearms. And it's amazing to watch because I'm just sitting here going, oh, yes. Keep going, guys, because we're going to force the fight on this. And you look, you may say, well, why do you want to fight? We could lose. Well, yes, but we will lose if we don't have the fight. I mean, you don't win a war unless you fight battles. And so we have to find those battles. And then when they present themselves, we have to embrace those fights and then bring out everybody and go fight that battle and win it, because that's how we secure liberty and our freedoms going forward. So yes, I welcome a fight.
I think this is different though, right? So it's not about having a fight or not having a fight. I think this one is about the age-old argument that Congress is always 10, 20, 50 years behind technology, because that's the next step. The technology progresses so much faster than Congress does. And so
because Congress literally, I've had people representing me in Congress, or us in Congress, my entire life, the same people.
Right, exactly. So I mean, like, you remember a good example of this would be the hearings originally when Facebook and Google and all these things were out, and they didn't understand tags or meta, or they didn't understand any of the algorithms, like all these words. They were being taught these words, and the younger generation's like, could we please move? Like, can we move forward here? Like, Mark Zuckerberg was sitting there going, I'm talking to a bunch of troglodytes. They don't even know what internet is.
I mean, we have representatives that literally got up on television just recently and said the moon is a ball of gas, and the sun's really hot, and it's really difficult to get humans to live on the surface of the sun. So it'd be much easier to go to the ball of gas known as the moon.
Sheila Jackson Lee, baby.
That's her. I mean, and we have another representative. I don't think he's still in Congress anymore, but he actually thought that the Navy was going to flip an island over because they had too many people on one side of it. Oh, is he still in there?
No, he is. He's that's
I forget his name.
Hank
is right. Hank sticks in
Thompson,
my mind.
Hank.
He actually was.
It's not Hank Williams. Nope.
No. But yeah, so anyway, this is the caliber of people we have representing us in Congress. They are literally dumb as rocks. These are people that I have no idea how they got through school. Because if you think the moon is a ball of gas, you're a moron. Anyway.
Or,
I had
or
to
if,
get that
or if
in
you
there.
think an island, or if you think an island can capsize.
Yeah, if you put too many people on one side of an island, you're going to flip it over. Again, these are our representatives, and they're making laws that you have to live by under the threat of law, which means if you don't follow the laws these morons pass, you go to prison.
Yeah. What could go wrong, Tim?
God.
What could go wrong?
The best and the brightest. Anyway, what city did this come out of? What city do you know that that police
Dallas.
chief? Dallas. Oh, I was thinking Austin, but anyway. All right, folks. Let us know what you think about the gun buybacks. Not if they're just or not. They're silly, of course, but let us know what you think down in the comments. Do you think you should be able to manufacture your own firearms? I think I know where you stand, but enlighten us anyway. Thank you for watching Second Legacy, and we'll talk to you guys soon.